I feel like since the beginning of our relationship, our communication has evolved so much in the best way possible. I feel like for me personally, hello, and welcome to episode number 97 of Yellow Colored Glasses. We are inching our way towards episode 100, which is kind of crazy.
It is crazy.
Very crazy.
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
That's wild.
Crazy.
Because what, 104 would be 2 years?
I was actually scrolling through Reels, as I do on Instagram, and someone, God, who was it? I can't remember who was saying this. It may have been Ryan Pineda. I can't remember. But anyway, if you make it past like 21 episodes, you're in the top 95% of podcasts.
Yeah, that's true.
Because people, number one, don't even make it to that number. And then the people that continue on far beyond 21 is very slim.
Consistency.
So, as always, speaking of consistency, we're going to start off with a review. This is from Kelsey M. Kelsey says, the Warren and Mounts agency has been so great with helping us make sure we're saving as much money as we can while making sure we have the best coverage possible, especially with our life insurance. You definitely won't be disappointed working with anyone within this office. All great people. So thank you to Kelsey.
Reviews go a long way, so.
Yeah, very long way. Thank you. Peak and pit. Peak. What's my peak? So the first thing that comes to mind is the trucking show that we've got coming up. And I'm getting more and more excited about it because we've never invested so much money into marketing materials. So I'm really excited to see all of that come together.
Yeah.
Because there's like a whole design and a whole layout that has been involved with it. And so, yeah, I'm just really excited for it.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be good for Caleb and Tristan. But yeah, obviously, I'm excited to see the whole thing come together.
Yeah, I would say my peak is we've been having a lot of things going on, right? So we've been doing, we did the golf tournament last weekend. We had a wedding, or actually 2 weekends ago, then we had a wedding this past weekend. The end of this month, we're going to Houston with the team. We have a wedding in August. We have a couple lake trips planned in July.
Oh, that's great, yeah.
I just feel like we have a lot of fun stuff going on this time of the year.
Yeah.
So busy, but good busy. So that's my peak. A lot of things to look forward to.
And we're
right
going
now.
to Vegas.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we're going to Vegas.
Did you say that? Sorry.
Yeah, Vegas for a wedding. So in August. So, yeah, it's crazy. It's 6 months into the year and halfway done.
Conference. That one's the only thing that's not confirmed. But
September.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of fun stuff.
Very. Pit, something not going so well. Again, we have a lot of stuff going on, so just kind of in a waiting period right now, you know? Just kind of waiting everything out and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say my pit is, well, we have a new puppy, and it's been going to the bathroom inside, so trying to get that potty trained and all that good stuff, and then just have another dog in the house is sometimes a pit, but it's also a peak. So,
she's cute.
Just the stress of that, having that extra.
She's cute. And she's literally perfect.
Yeah. So that's my pit.
Okay, so in this episode, we are going to talk about our connection and how we've maintained it for the past 12 years.
Okay.
Has it been 12 years?
Is it coming up on 12? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So let's talk about various different topics. We're going to get into communication styles. We're going to get into like finances, health, growth, basically everything, every corner of a relationship we're going to dive into.
Okay.
So number 1, communication. I feel like since the beginning of our relationship, our communication has evolved so much in the best way possible. I feel like for me personally, I still struggle with this, but it's still gotten a lot better. I don't deliver the best. Like, I'm not the best in my delivery. And so again, I'm still working on it, but if I'm not good at delivering, then like the way that you receive something is not gonna go very well.
Yeah, I definitely think the delivery, how you hear something, how you respond to something. I mean, all that stuff that you learn, right? You know, when we first got together, we're younger, so we don't even know how to communicate. We don't even know how to do a good delivery, or how to, maybe we take a delivery and it's not the best. Like, how do you turn it into like, okay, let's try to figure out what this person's meaning. We're not mind readers, of course. So, I think all of that progresses as you get older, right? With experience,
right?
Trial and error, right? There's been some bad, been some good.
Yeah.
But I think overall, like, that's the goal. Is we're always pushing to get better with the communication, with the delivery, with how you take something. I think that's the goal.
I think for me, I have like understood myself. Like, I remember when we first got together, and that was back when I was 17 and you were 20 or 21, and I'm coming at you with something that is upsetting me, but all the words that I'm saying is like so surface level.
Yep.
Underneath that is like, feeling disrespected or feeling neglected or feeling left out.
Yep.
But I didn't really have the ability to communicate that, so it came off as just like a lot of emotion and a lot of realistically kind of like irrelevant things, So anyway, I'm certainly not perfect.
Yeah, I think as you get older, you understand yourself. You understand what you need, what you don't need, what's important to you, what's not important to you. Picking and choosing your fights and battles, and also being respectful whenever you do pick those fights or pick those battles. I guess fights is kind of a bad word, I think, or a bad way to say it. But I think understanding, again, what's important to you, what's important to your partner. I feel like that goes with communication in all aspects of life. No matter if it's with your friend, if it's with a partner, business partner, if it's a parent, mom, dad, whatever, the sister, whatever that might be, the communication, like all of that kind of enhances and increases as you progress along in life, in my opinion.
I was listening to, again, another reel, and it was a woman talking, and someone had asked her, like, what, I think I've sent this to you before, what do you think that fighting is essential, or do you know, how did he say it? He said, do you think fighting is okay in a relationship? Like, is it normal to fight? And her response was, oh, it's like so critical, because underneath the fighting is a lesson to be learned. Normally it's about power and control, respect, and then there was one other thing that it's normally about. And when I thought about, like, we haven't thought about this, but like on the topic of mowing the grass, for example, I am not someone who cares about what the grass looks like, but the person who should have, power and control over decision making on that topic is someone who does care about what it looks like, Again, we've never thought about that, but just as an example.
Yeah. No, I think fighting is essential, like you said. I mean, it's, you gotta, if you just everything if you don't have any disagreements and everything is just fine, right? And you're I mean, I don't think that can be true. Like, we're humans, so like we're always going to disagree with certain things and totally not understand what you're coming from. And if you don't talk through those things, like you're not going to get through to each other, I guess. So,
and that's what makes us. Like, your upbringing is different from my upbringing. And so we're going to bring different perspectives to the table.
Yeah, and I think having a voice, I think that's one thing that we're different with. It's not just one person that runs the household. Your voice is just as valid as mine. My voice is just as valid as yours. And it's understanding those voices, the communication with each other, to hear each other out. And I think, again, if that's the like-minded mutual goal, that's the key.
Yeah.
Even though it gets very hard. Sometimes it's like, gosh, it's like, this is so overwhelming to talk through all these things. What do you do? And you just kind of want to like say, it's easier not to communicate these things and not do these things. And that can only last for so long before it blows up on you.
Yeah. So in our relationship, there's usually like a communicator and someone that's more like passive and doesn't want to talk and deal. They just kind of want to like let time pass and everything will be fine. That's you. And then I'm the communicator.
Yeah.
I'm always the one that's like, okay, let's talk through this. Like, where did we go wrong here? And then how do we make sure it doesn't happen again?
Yeah.
And that's great. That's a really great thing. But it can be a bad thing if I'm trying to talk when you aren't in the mental
Correct.
frame to talk.
Yep.
And then vice versa. If you're unwilling to talk, I'm feeling neglected, unseen, unheard because you're not communicating.
Yeah, that's true.
The problem can go both ways. I can create a problem for you and you can create a problem for me.
Yeah.
So anyway.
I would agree. All right, what else?
Finances. Who handles the finances up in this B?
I would say I handle the finances.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Again, I think we both have a say in the finances, right? I think that's key. I think you're involved in the finances. I think you know everything that goes on in the finances. I feel like a strength of mine is I'm creative with finances. I like it. I feel like it's like playing the game of Monopoly. I'm a big believer in if we're spending too much money, it's not because we're spending too much money, it's because we're not making enough money. So now again, you can get yourself in trouble with that, of course, but I don't think we overspend. I think we're good spenders. I think there's times where we do spend more, but it's way easier to make an extra $100,000 than it is to save $100,000 is my mindset.
Yeah.
So if we're not making enough money, or if we're spending we're spending an X amount of dollars, I want to make enough money to live our lifestyle, right? And I think our lifestyle has to gradually get to where we want it to be. We can't just say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to start living this lifestyle, and it doesn't happen that way. So you have to be strategic with it. But yeah, I think that's kind of how we go about it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, Jake definitely is the one that, when I say handle finances, what that means is he's the one that goes in and processes all the transactions.
Correct.
And he's the one that communicates to me where everything's at, what's moving where. And I am aware of it. Obviously, since he's the one physically looking at it, he's going to be more aware of it. But we have communication, we have conversations, I don't know, weekly?
Yeah. I think we're always talking on that. I feel like that's us being, working together, right? We're always talking about business. It's not like we're always talking about money, but we're always talking about, something to do with finances with our personal accounts, with the business accounts, if it's payroll, if it's employees, if it's like whatever that might be, like it's some sort of finance. How we can, get better with spending habits, or how we can make more money, like just being disciplined with certain things. Like I think that's always a subject that we're talking about, at least weekly. And I think we enjoy it. Like I said,
it's so much fun.
I look at it as Monopoly, like we're playing the game of Monopoly in life. And it's fun. Like if you stress on it, like I think everybody, I've heard multiple people say that, or read multiple things, that finances is the most stressful thing in a marriage. Well, if you can make it where it's fun, right, where everybody's involved, well, then it's like, again, if you look at it as a game, even though it's not, like it's your livelihood, it can be fun.
Yeah.
And that's how I look at it. I love it.
I feel like being broke is hard.
Yeah.
Being wealthy is hard.
Yeah, everything's
choose
hard.
Your heart.
Choose your heart.
Being skinny is hard. Fat's hard.
Yeah.
Choose your heart.
Choose your heart.
Like it's all stressful. So you just got to decide which stress you want to
ride the wave, ride the waves, and have fun doing it.
Yeah. But yeah, he's the one that actually goes in, processes everything. But I am constantly in communication of like, okay, where's this at? What's this doing? What's our next move? And we're very much on the same page. I'm not afraid to ask questions, period. And Jake isn't afraid to listen to me. You know, if I have a thought or opinion on something, you're going to hear me out. You don't always agree with me.
Correct.
And I don't always agree with you.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where, like, if we do have a different perspective on something, we've got to find the common ground and figure out how to move forward with different perspectives.
Yeah, I think that goes back to communication. I feel like if communication is always open, the stresses with finances that people have in marriages or businesses, like that's key, is communication. And then again, make sure you're not overspending, right?
Yeah.
Again, I know people can have a totally exact opposite where they want to budget and do all these things, and I'm just, I want to have control of my money. I'm not a big fan of like retirement accounts and things like that. So I feel like I don't want to tie our money up in something where we can't touch it until we're retired. Like I want to have access to it at my fingertips. So knowing which way your stomach, I guess, like your risk tolerance, right? That's a huge deal. So figuring that out, communicating that, making sure everybody's on the same page, and then taking action.
Yeah. So I wrote down intentions for this next topic, but what I'm saying is like intention in the relationship.
Okay.
So for us, what this looks like, we've really gotten even more intentional with this over just the last several weeks, but going out on a date night and like having fun, being playful, not, talking about business. Business always gets thrown in there some way, somehow. But we were in Lake Tahoe, and we went to this place called Heidi's, this breakfast place. And this woman came up to us, and she was like, oh yeah, are you guys like newlyweds? And we were like, no, we've been together, we've been married 6 years, and we were blah, 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 blah. And she was like, oh wow, you guys just look so happy, and she looks like she still likes you.
Yeah.
So
it's
important for us to like go out, and that's actually not the first time that's happened to us.
Really?
Remember at the Morgan Wallen concert?
Oh yeah.
Someone was like, you guys are just like so much fun to watch. Just kind of creepy.
I guess to get us out of our bubble sometimes we can be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I think being intentional with it, like even if it's just like, I feel like we do a good job of going out every weekend. Like honestly, there's multiple times we go out every night on a weekend, just me and you. But I think taking it a step further, like what we did this past week, or what I just did last night, is just booked a place on Friday night. Where it's a scheduled thing. It's not just us saying, oh, Friday, like, oh, what are we gonna do tonight? Oh, let's go out. Like I know that's fun too.
Yeah.
But it's also nice to have it planned where you're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Last night we got it booked, and we're going to a place at 6:30 on Friday night.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like on our calendar. This is what we're doing. We're looking forward to it all week long. Versus come Thursday or Friday afternoon, we're like, hey, what do you want to do tonight? And it's like, oh, well, let's go to 3rd Street Social, or let's go to downtown Lee Summit. Let's go whatever. So I think that's cool. We've also been doing a lot better on Sundays, right? Getting up, going to brunch. And
the intention behind Sunday, though, is more business and more like planning for the week. And this is really important, going back to like communication. It's really helpful for me to know your schedule, so I know when you are like mentally and emotionally available.
Yeah.
So, okay, you've got like 3 meetings on Tuesday. Okay, that's not the day to talk to you about, something personal on my end, or, it lets me know your bandwidth and vice versa. You know what I've got on my plate. So anyway, being intentional with having a day on the calendar where we do talk through those things.
Yep.
So that we know what to expect of each other.
Yeah, I think the other part to that is Sundays, we regroup, we get ready for the week, plan out the week. And I think that's good. I think it gets us up, it gets us dressed up. We dress up, or we get out of our workout clothes. Sometimes I guess I don't know. I guess that's actually not true.
We have before, and then we haven't.
I was gonna say, basically it just gets us up and going, where we get out, we have lunch or brunch or whatever, talk about the week, talk about what we have coming up. Like you said, that way you know what's going on in my week and what I know what's going on in your week. I think that helps like being able to help each other with that, right? That way if you need something on a certain day, I'm like, okay, I can pick up a slack. I can pick up slack here. If I know, or if she knows I have a busy day, you can pick up slack certain ways.
Yeah.
Again, all goes back into communication. I feel like whenever everybody's clear with communication and everybody knows exactly what's going on, as much as possible. I think that's unrealistic to know exactly what's going on all the time,
absolutely.
but as much as possible, we communicate those things. I think that eliminates a lot of arguments that aren't needed, right? I love it. What else? Systematic health.
Systemic.
Systemic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's that?
Like just your overall health.
Oh, okay.
So I heard something the other day, and it was so true. So people are in relationships for a long time, and they get really content. Quite frankly, they get lazy.
Mm-hmm.
So if, let's say those two people were to break up, what's the very first thing both of them are going to do?
Go get healthy in the gym, get jacked in the gym. Yeah, no, I saw the same thing. I think I sent it to you, or maybe you sent it to me.
I don't know. We must have seen the same thing. But that's what happens is everyone gets complacent.
Correct.
And it's just laziness. Mm-hmm. And now they're like, oh shit, now I gotta get my head back in the game. Mm-hmm. Why would I not want to give you the best version of me? Especially
now.
Especially always.
Yeah, because now we know each other. Now we know it's working. It's like before we were you try to do all the things you can to date somebody, and then once you start dating them and you get married to them, then you're not dating them anymore, and then that's when you become lazy and you're now roommates, and it's like blah,
Yeah.
So how do you keep up with the dating portion? And I think that's within your own self, making sure you stay healthy.
I want to look good for you.
Yeah, I want to look good. I want to feel good.
And I want to look. Sorry, let me back it up. I want to look good for myself first and foremost. I should take care of me for me, right? But then second to that is you.
Yeah, and I think that's with business too. With your overall health and life, right? I mean, if you're not taking care of your body,
your experience of life is going to be different.
Completely different. Yeah, you might be able to take that for a while, but over time, it's going to just start really eating at you, and then everything that you feel when we're younger, you're not going to feel that as long.
Yeah.
Right. And your motivation and your all these things are going to take a huge, hit. Right. So, same thing with your relationship. I feel like staying healthy is just as key for yourself and your relationship as it is for anything else, right? And again, looking good for you, looking good for myself, feeling good for myself, feeling good for you, the confidence that comes with that, everything that comes into play with just confidence, feeling good, I feel like that blossoms everything in business and in a relationship.
Yeah.
And it keeps it healthy.
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge deal. And I just talked to somebody, we talked about this a lot, but everybody talks about the whole pandemic with COVID and everything. There's actually a real pandemic with the foods and and how active we are, right, as humans in today's world. It's so easy. It makes everything that we have access to makes us so lazy with so many different things in our life, right? Yeah. Grocery shopping, getting out, leaving our house. We can do everything from your house. So being intentional with, because again, when I think of health, I also think of your mental health, right? Talking to people, getting out and communicating versus just sitting at your house. So I think there's a lot of things that go into play with that.
I bet. That one, I'm bad about that one.
Yeah. Like, it's so easy to just, like, only talk to your circle, and that's it. And, like, not branch out.
Yeah.
Be around other
Challenge
people and
yourself in
social,
that way.
and be in, like, social situations. So I feel like,
I need to work on that one.
yeah. So, but again, I think that all kind of plays into health, right? Feeling good about yourself, knowing that you went out and did a networking event, even though you might not wanted to do it. It's key, right? It's key for our communication in the world that we live in. Like, not a lot of people do that. A lot of people, that's why people get scared to go to grocery stores nowadays. They get anxiety and all these different things. I feel like sometimes anxiety is like a made up thing that you have in your head, right? And it's just, if you just go out and do it, then that anxiety goes away.
Right.
And now again, that's easier said than done.
Yeah.
But way easier said than done.
Yeah.
But still, it's a thing that we create on ourselves sometimes, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. New experiences. So, again, in relationships, people become complacent, they become lazy, and what's a way to avoid that? To expose yourself to new stuff,
Yeah.
to new things, new experiences. So, for me, what that looks like is going to a new place, going to a new coffee shop, or going to a new cocktail place, or a restaurant, or traveling to a different country. Like, let's do something that we've never seen before, and it's going to be a completely new thing. Because that's why relationships are so fun in the beginning, is because you're doing all of these things, that you've never done before with this person. And we've done all these things together.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, I feel like we still have a lot of fun. Like, we've gone to the gym together.
We go to the same place.
We do. Like, we've done the
3rd
same
Street.
thing.
Yeah.
We have so much fun. Like, I don't care.
For me, like, I think I'm cool with doing a lot of the same things. Like, it's about the company that I'm with, right? Yeah. But again, to your point, like, yeah, that's true. Like, if we're going to new places and it's just a new experience, like, that keeps things fresh. Now, again, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing the same things over, as long as you're enjoying it, right? Like, I think as we get older, you get to know, like, okay, the things that you like to do, and do those things, right? Like, I know people say, like, we need to do the things that we don't like to do, and I agree. I do think we need to do that to push ourselves to get out of our comfort zone. But at the same time, like, the things that you're really good at, the things that we really like to do, we should do them more, right? Like, those are your hobbies. Like, I feel like as we get older, sometimes our hobbies go away because we're getting busy with life, kids, X, Y, and Z. And it's like you don't make time for yourself. And the most wealthiest people in the world, right? And when I say wealthy, like, yeah, everybody thinks finances, but those people are very, like, they have a very good discipline with doing things that make them happy.
They're wealthy in many other ways.
Correct. And they have the same amount of time in a day that everybody else does.
Exactly.
It's how do you figure that out, right? It's wake up earlier, go to bed earlier, be more intentional with everything you do in your life, time-wise. And I think you can create those hobbies, or create the time to basically flourish with those hobbies.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. True.
What else we got?
Last one is growth. So, again, going back to, like, communication, like, specifically on, getting better and communicating with you, like, what I need, and communicating with you what I am able to give you, just like in all aspects of communication. I feel like I've personally grown in that. I also feel like it's just really important to focus on growth in general.
Yeah. Yeah, I love growth.
We were just talking the other night. Was it last night or the night before? I don't remember. But I'm like, what can I do better? What can I do? Tell me. Yeah. Because I want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I think growth is huge. Like, I think that's where, things can get boring, in my opinion. I get very bored if I'm not, like, doing something that challenges me. Yeah. The times that I feel the best about myself is whenever I am doing something that I don't know what I'm necessarily doing, but then I get it completed. Like the feeling that I get with that is amazing. So it's like, okay, you could also say like, well, then you're always on what's next. Yeah, that there's nothing wrong with what's next.
Not at
You
all.
you become an expert at one thing and then you move on to the next, right? And you become an expert at that and then move on to the next. And versus
you can do that. You can always aspire for more and still be grateful for everything that exists right now.
Correct. And I totally agree with that because like, again, if I look back at myself 10 years ago or even just 2 or 3 years ago, I mean, I feel like I'm a way better person, right? I'm a better person, I'm a better husband, I'm a better friend, I'm a better son. Like I'm all these things that I think that I'm better at. Am I the best that I can be? No, not at all. There are times where I'm just terrible at being a husband, at being a friend, like all of these things.
Yeah.
But I know when I look back at 10 years ago or like I said, 2 or 3 years ago, I'm way better than what I was then. And that's the progression that you look for, and that's the growth. And I feel like when you're ultimately growing at all times, life will never get boring.
That's true.
Now you're living versus just getting by to get to retirement to think that once you get to retirement it's going to be like this. No, the time is now. Like you need to be living for now, and if you can have that mindset, growth is I think it's a huge deal with having that mindset and keeping that mindset consistent.
On Friday, I took my car into the shop. It was going to be there for several hours, so I Ubered to a place to work. And anyway, point of the story is I ended up in an Uber last Friday. And, you talk to your Uber driver, do you do this full time? Is this part time? So he was retired. He's like, yeah, I retired. And I was retired for some time, and then I realized retirement wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Because he did it. He achieved that thing, but then he wanted to move on to something else.
Correct.
He wanted to, so anyway, to your point.
Yeah, I mean, the day that you stop, here's a good one. The day that you stop learning and stop growing is the day you become old, right? I mean, if you're always, think about when we're kids, we're always learning something new, right? We're growing into our bodies, we're growing into our minds, growing into ourselves. We're learning something new, no matter if it's something with school, something with sports, something with, driving, like whatever it is, we're always learning something new. As you become an adult, you stop learning, you stop growing, and you just do your normal stuff, and then you go on with your life. That's how you become old. If you look at anybody who gets grumpy about technology or a lot of different things, it's because they're not growing. They're not continuing to learn new things.
Or machine taking over the world.
Yeah. So it's like grow with, because the world is always changing. Yeah. So grow and change with the world, and that will keep you young. Yeah. I mean, if you look at guys that are 70, 80, 90 years old, like there's people that we see that everybody sees on, the news or social media, and it's like those guys don't look that old, right? And it's because they're continuing to do something. Like everybody knows somebody that's 80 years old that's like, gosh, that guy's painting still, or that guy's still doing this. Like, how is he doing that? Well, he's doing it because he never stopped learning. He never stopped growing. They are always doing something. And that's the key and I think everything that goes into this, communication, finances, discipline, self-care, health, like all of that continues to basically flourish that growth, and to keep it consistent. And that's the biggest thing is the consistency with it, because everybody can go through a season where they're like, I'm in this growth mindset, and then what happens after that? Next season's over, right? Then you go back, and then it's just kind of going. It's how do you consistently be in that mindset all the time, and that's hard to do.
Very.
So.
Yeah. There was something that you said a second ago that I wanted to piggyback on. Oh God, I can't think of it. It was going to be so good. I don't remember.
Well, I feel like that was good.
That was good. Let's end on, I feel like sometimes whenever couples get to talking about this, it could seem like these people, they just know everything.
Yeah, and that's not the case at all. Like I actually, so we went out with one of your friends, my friend too, and they said something about along the lines of like, oh, you guys, perfect couple or something. And it's like, no. And she wasn't being rude at all, I don't think. I know she wasn't. And it's like, no, like that's of course not the case. Like, we try, and that's our goal is to not be perfect, but to grow. And like, and it's so hard because like there's so many times where I'm just so terrible at all the things that we just talked about. And, sometimes people think that I just have it all figured out, and I just have super disciplined and not lazy, and I'm working all the time. Like, that's not the case. Like, we all have our times, and it's just how you, again, the consistency of your mindset with it.
And honestly, how you respond to life is, I know what I was going to say about growth. So the people that are frustrated with, things evolving, that all they're focusing on is the fact that, in the context of machines, all you're focusing on is that one job is being switched over to machine, right? Yeah. What you're not seeing is that transition created so many other jobs on the back end.
Well, and it also goes into like the reason why someone doesn't like something like that is because now they have to learn something new. Right. And that's part of the growing. Like, learning something new is not fun to do as an adult. Like, it's
because you're gonna suck at it.
It's a statistic. Like, as adults don't like learning new things.
It's an ego challenge. Challenges your ego.
Yeah, like, because then you're like, you don't have the patience for it, and we have all these different excuses. But versus a kid wants to learn everything.
No, they're excited to make a mistake. I'm so excited to get this wrong and fall down and figure it out.
The amount of times I hear people say, well, Jake, I have kids in a house and all this other things. Like, dude, congratulations, so does everybody else. Like, take the risk, and if you're calculated with it and you commit to it, you have to commit to those things. If you just half-ass it, you're not gonna do anything great if you half-ass it. It's so.
So to tie that into us potentially presenting ourselves as if we, I can't control what everybody thinks that listens to us, so I'm never going to make everybody happy. But I will add that we are not perfect. We do argue sometimes. I have a horrible attitude sometimes. You have a horrible attitude sometimes. And we get pissy, and we are like, you know what? I didn't like you like 20 minutes ago, but
now you're cool.
Generally speaking, I do like you.
95% of the time.
Yeah.
So cool.
So anyway, thank you for tuning in. This is our TED Talk.
Episode 97.
Episode 97.
Over and out.
Over and out.